So we'll be sitting on a pedestal. What should we talk about? Would you help me, please?
What you said yesterday, Krishnji, seemed so vast.
You pardon?
What you said yesterday, you and Julie together, opened a vista which was so vast. It seemed, as far as I was concerned, at the beginning I even practically went to sleep trying to understand what was being said. And then it seemed to me that you were talking about the little self with its cocoon of self-concern, and also the vast universe. And you explained that the little self has been built up through millennia, and seemed to be suggesting that it could jump out of this cocoon quickly into some sort of vast state in which the cosmos and the universe and the stars and nature were all included. And it seemed too much.
Is that what you want to talk about?
Probably not.
I'm a bit at a loss, please. We will all sit together quietly.
Perhaps a real communication between all of us.
This is a meeting, isn't it, of those who are representatives of certain countries, and these teachers and the workers here at Brockwood. So it's a gathering rather of different types of mentalities and so on. Now,
So Krishnji, it's just the start and the foreign committees.
foreign committee, that's
Yes.
right.
And really I think that it was to address the foreign committees that the reason of your wanting to communicate with them more what they were doing.
Is that what?
Krishnji,
Why you wanted them here to sort of get to know them more.
Krishnji, it seems that most of us here, committee members and staff members, have been listening to you for quite some time.
Unfortunately, yes.
Is it a case in which we're all hopeless? We don't listen? Or could we discuss this? Why it is we haven't changed?
Shall we go into that? Would you like to go into it? I've listened to a man for say 20 years, and I know intellectually, more or less, what he's talking about. He's not only talking about the intellectual capacity to reason, logic, and sanity, but also he's trying to point out something different. And I've listened to him for a considerable time. And I asked myself, after having listened to him, why my mind is so quick, apprehensive in the sense, apprendere, take it all, absorb. And I look at my own daily life, and I see I'm more or less what I've been before I listened to him, even though I've listened to him for 20 years and more. And I ask myself, why? Should we go into this? And I ask myself, why? Why? Though I logically, with reason and exercising as much brain capacity as I have to understand, and I see all the explanations and the verbal exchange, I understand all that very well. But I have read it quite a bit. I'm not just a ignorant person. I'm fairly intelligent, fairly alive to a world situation, and read books and so on. And yet I find I cannot break through. I cannot change my way of life. Why? Is it I'm weak? My wife, my children, the society I live in. I've lived in it for 30 years, 40, 50, 60 or 80. And that society and that my career are so demanding, so exacting, that I cannot bring myself or have enough energy to deal with this. So what shall I do? And I see what he says is important. If I didn't feel important, I wouldn't go near it. But I do feel that it's important, and I can see it will affect the whole structure of society, myself, my relationships and so on. I see the goodness of it. And I can't somehow bring myself to live it. So, what is the cause of it? Is there a single cause which I can put my hands on, or are there many causes for this terrible lack of deep, profound interest? I have my career. My wife is not interested in all this. So I have a battle at home, a struggle at home. She wants to live a worldly life, and I partly want to live it, but greater part of me doesn't like all that. So there is tug of war going on in the family. I have to earn a livelihood because I have a responsibility of 2 children or 1 child, a wife who is demanding, and I have very little energy left. Or I live alone, and the loneliness and separation, the isolation is also intensely powerful. So I'm caught in this. What shall I do? You're all very interested in this? What shall I do? I can go a certain distance with the speaker, what he has said. But inwardly, I feel I must go the whole way, right to the very end of his. I want to, if I may use that word without any kind of effort, I want to catch up with him. Not as in competition or ambition or desire. I see it's so utterly important. But I can't bring myself to that point. Why? Right? Is it my physical body, the organism, has been so misused sexually, overindulgence in food, drink and chatter and pubs and all that, have abused the body, so the body doesn't respond. So what shall I do? The body has got into a certain habit. Nicotine, drink, alcohol. And the indulgence in eating, meat and heavy drink, all that. So the body has become rather coarse, heavy, dull. And that obviously does affect the mind. The body has its own intelligence, I see, if it had grown naturally, without all the smoking, drinking, and the indulgence of various kinds. If it had been allowed to grow healthily, it has its own intelligence, but the body has lost it, or partially lost it. So can this body regain or capture that original capacity to live a very sensitive, healthy, strong body? Or is it too late? I don't feel anything is too late. So I have to watch, I have to change my whole way, physically, whole way of living. No more smoking, no more drinking, no indulgence of various kinds. Make the body active, healthy. Various forms, exercises and so on and so on. I will do it. Because if the body is insensitive, not alive physically, sluggish, and I have to make it that, right? and I'm going to do it. Instead of getting up at 7 o'clock, I'll get up at 5 o'clock. I've done all this personally. I'll get up at 5 o'clock and work, make the body active. No more smoking, no more drinking, no more perhaps, no more eating meat and all that. I won't. That's one thing. Next step, am I emotionally over indulging in that? I don't know if I'm conveying anything. That is, am I emotionally exaggerated? Huh? Am I emotionally, or rather allowing my emotions to have an extraordinary part in my life? Probably I am. I'm having a conversation with myself. Huh? All right, I'll go on. So I have to be clear first whether my emotions are dominating my life. The emotions of pleasure, emotions of imagination, romanticism, sentimentality. Which may, if I give way to them, leads to kind of neurotic state. Am I doing that in my life? And I see I am partially doing it. Kind of being slack and emotional, letting emotions dominate my thinking, my observation, my perceptions, my speech, and gradually work myself into kind of isolated. I can't stand noise, I can't stand meeting too many people, and I must be alone, I can't. You follow? Does this apply to, am I talking to anybody? So I have to watch that very, very carefully. Because as he pointed out very clearly in his talks, it's not a matter of control, but it's a matter of observation. And he has explained it very carefully. What is the nature of observation, in which there is no observer, no duality, but only observe. All right, I've caught on to that. So I observe my emotions very carefully. So there is no sentimentality of any kind. No romantic indulgence and daydreams and, all that. But I have observed it, so I'm going to watch in my walks, in my talk, when I go out with others, I'm going to watch it very carefully. In my relationship to my wife, if I have one, and I'm going to tell her. I'm going to tell her that I'm no longer going to be emotionally caught by her.
So this is the digression, but you very seldom speak about
Everybody?
emotion.
What?
You seldom go into what emotion is. You refer to it, it's in this very derogatory term.
No, emotions I mean by emotional reactions.
Well, is affection an emotion?
Which?
Affection.
No.
Why?
No. I'll go into that presently. Wait a minute. Give me a chance. I'm having a conversation with myself. You can come into it a little later, all of you. I'm going to tell her. And she will, of course, flare up. What idiocy all this is, huh? She'll flare up, but I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to allow this kind of nonsense to go on with my life. Then, emotions, I watch it. Then next step is, what is my relationship to her and to the rest of the world, to the particular and to the general? I'm going through all the things he has pointed out. Not because I'm following him, not because I want to worship him, or I don't indulge in all that kind of stuff. But I see the logic of it, the sanity of it, the reasonableness of it. And he's pointed out very curious thing in relationship, which is not to have an image about another. And I have images about others, about Mrs. Thatcher, about Callaghan, or the TUC leaders, or about my wife. I have images. And of course I have the images of all the priests that have built that peculiar religious images in my mind. So I'm going to walk through them. I'm going to see why I have them, what is their value, if they have any significance whatsoever. And I'm going to observe them unemotionally. That's what I mean. Without any sense of keeping some and avoiding the others. Keeping the favorite images and getting rid of those which are not pleasant. But I'm going to examine all of them so that my mind is free from all images. Right? I've gone pretty far. If I've gone so far, I'm going to tell my wife, I'm going to explain to her, if she will listen to me. Probably she won't. Because she wants all the images. She's been brought up as a Catholic Protestant, and I happened to fall in love with her when we were very young, which is not love at all, but sensory, sexual responses. And now I'm caught in it. Am I all right so far? I'm caught in it. So I have a certain responsibility to see about the children, whom I like, and I feel responsible for them, and to a certain limit, to a certain extent, towards my wife. And I want to establish a relationship with her that's not sexual merely, that's not a kind of mutual exploitation, all right? Mutual encouragement, mutual scratching each other's back and all the rest of it. I don't want all that kind of relationship. And I'm going to See? Explain as much as I can. Take time. Have patience. I'm going to tell my wife. If she can stand it.
Isn't he part of it?
Huh?
Isn't he part of it, Krishnaji?
Huh?
Hasn't he begotten the situation?
I don't quite follow. I
I
can't
mean,
hear.
isn't it a mutual admiration society? Isn't he part of that?
Yes, she is, but I'm
situation?
not. But I'm not. I walked out of that particular kind of relationship. I don't want that kind of relationship. It's nonsensical. It's no relationship at all. I see very clearly this. So I'm working on my wife and on myself. You may consider, she may consider this rather ruthless, rather egotistic, personal salvation, whatever the words a wife would use to insult me. But I pursue it persistently, consistently, day after day. Because I feel that what has been said for 20 years is tremendously important. It is tremendously absorbing, exciting, and has a tremendous vitality behind it. And I begin to see and gather this vitality in myself. Because my body now has become sensitive, alert, watchful, yet full of But also I watch the emotions. They have a certain part, but they don't play havoc with my life. And my relationship, I see the necessity of not being attached.
Krishnji, there might be something in my wife's comment if she says that it's
yes,
your personal salvation.
I've listened to the lady. Mm-hmm. I'm not so intolerant, I'm not so stupid. I listen to her. But she goes up to a certain point, but not further. Because she has her own ambitions, her own way of life. She's a Catholic or a Protestant, or believes in some nonsensical guru, and puts on a robe and a mala and all that stuff. You know all that stuff? She says, I want to go to India. I want to go and see the latest guru. And she comes back with this guy, with his picture.
These people here that you're talking to have not done that.
What?
These people here that you're talking to have not done that.
My wife has done that.
Your wife has not.
I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about...
These people here that you're talking to have gone into those things.
No, they have not done it. But they may have an image of the speaker in their mind, which is another God, which is another way. So, I've got very few more years to live. Perhaps 20 years. And I want to, at the end of it, I want to have something tremendous in my life. I want it not in the sense of desire, because I've understood all the explanations he has given. And I see the logic of it in the sanity. And I want to burst through all this. Then, I want to find out if I'm lonely. Which has been covered up by relationship, by jobs, by career and all the rest of it. I want to find out if I'm really deeply lonely. Which has been perhaps covered up by knowledge, by books, by every kind of entertainment, religious and otherwise. So I find I am lonely. Loneliness is part of the wounds that I have received from childhood. I'll walk through it. I won't escape and all the rest of it. I won't. Understand? I'm getting, as I move along, I'm getting more and more vitality, strength, and intention goes deeper and deeper and deeper. Then sorrow, I won't go through it. I understand that. Then I come to a point. Love, compassion, I don't know anything about it, but I'll go into it later. So is my mind in the sense my brain, the whole structure of my way of thinking, looking, all that, is that distorted, stultified, dull? Because I've read a great deal, and perhaps I've accumulated a great deal of knowledge. That may be one of the impediments. So do I function from knowledge? Of course, in career, to have a career and working in a job and all that, I must have knowledge. That's understood, and I'm going to. Is my life based on knowledge, or is there freedom from knowledge, and so a way of living totally different? I'm going to find out, I don't know. The speaker, to whom I've listened for 20 years, points to something different. I haven't captured it, but I'm inquiring. So I'm asking myself, is my knowledge directing my life? Knowledge being all the experiences, both personal and general, and the knowledge that society, civilization, that human beings have gathered through centuries, is that knowledge directing, making a way of life for me? Or is there a way of living and speaking and acting from freedom? Freedom from knowledge. This is what I want. This is the most important thing, as he points out. It's the most important thing to find out. Am I? Psychologically, having gathered a great deal of psychological information, psychological accumulation of images and knowledge and facts and all that which is me, am I acting from that? Or is there a way of acting totally differently? I don't know if you're interested in this, are you?
Sir, I can't speak for anyone but myself. Are you not making a sort of caricature in a way of Mr. Average Human Being?
What?
This is what every human being brings to the problems that you're discussing.
I can't hear.
I'm sorry. You're making a picture of a sort of average human being.
I am an average human being.
No, may I suggest that probably, I can't speak for anyone else, but probably everybody in this room has been through all this, has looked at these things in themselves.
Question.
Well, could it be more immediate? Could we not take this generality?
No, I'm being
and
very particular.
discuss what problems are?
I'm being very particular.
I,
I don't see what's the difference. I don't quite understand.
well,
I may be wrong. Please correct me.
Well, I feel that you're painting a general picture, which is accurate of most human beings. I feel you're describing things which probably the people in this room have all come up against in their own examination. Could
No,
we somehow find
Maria,
out?
the point is, why haven't we changed?
Yes, but,
Right? These are I'm explaining.
but these are generalities
No,
within
no.
your teaching.
I explained it may be my body that's interfering.
But we all know that.
Or
We all surely.
is it so?
Well,
I don't think we do all know it by our own chalk. I think that this generality is not a generality, it's very much a particularity. It's going through step by step.
I question.
Or, wait a minute, let's approach it differently. Have I to go through all this? There's an older person sitting there instead of here. Have I to go through all these steps? I've understood, I've read what he has said. I've listened. After all, I've listened for 20 years. I must be either an extraordinarily stupid man, or I have listened without great deal of attention. Right? So, am I to go through all this, step by step, body, mind, emotion, all that, or can I capture the whole thing? Would that satisfy you? Can I capture the essence of what that man has been saying? The essence of it. If I can capture the essence of it, that may really change my whole being. Right? Is that what you're trying to say, Maria?
I'm not trying to say anything. I was simply suggesting that what you had described, which was, in a sense, looking at different factors in the human mind, is something that surely people who have read you and been listening to you for as long as this group has, have already examined, surely they must be aware of.
No.
I think that I think that you say later is very interesting to touch the essence for that currently.
No,
That's the
Sir, Mr. Jenkins asked before we started all this, he said, why is it after having listened to you for some umpteen years, so many years, that I haven't changed? That was the basic question. And I said, it may be your body, it may be your emotions. So, are we going step by step into it and trying to change it? Or is there a way of meeting the whole problem not partially, not bit by bit, taking it as a whole and resolving it. Would that be right?
Well, Krishnji, it seems that you can't jump straight into that without having done some of the preliminary work of having a healthy body and so
I
on.
mean, now how shall we start this? If you have worked through all the physical body and so on, so on, so on, then you come to a point, either you capture the very essence of what he's talking about, and is that essence of what is that something outside or in that essence? Have I understood it as part of my investigation, or how shall I put it, or something that I'm trying to reach? I don't know.
It seems to me that their conditioning is so very deep. You see, we have said that it is the result of millions of years.
No, but
and
Miss-
it's like
Miss
something.
Pratt, I've listened to him for 20 years, and he is talking endlessly about conditioning. Why haven't I unconditioned myself?
Because I've been in this groove for millennia, as you point out.
No.
The brain
Then,
has.
if you have been in the groove from the very beginning of your time, of your life,
It's like suddenly receiving a proposal of marriage. It's all so sudden. Suddenly, we have to.
Sir, please.
This is a
I have the necessity to solve that now, not tomorrow.
yes, sir. But we must.
Penetrate
We
now,
must
not
meet
tomorrow.
that. Yes, sir. We must meet her question. We
You're
say,
talking of a person who is rooted in habit.
beg pardon?
You're talking to a person who is rooted in habit.
All right, just a minute.
Grooves so
Wait a minute. You have been caught in deep habit, deep conditioning, deep in a trench caught conditioning. You have listened to him for 20 years. Why haven't you done anything about it?
That's what I want to know.
What do you mean that you want to know?
I do.
He has explained very carefully, practically almost in every talk, in every dialogue, in every conversation, for the last 20, 30, 40 years or 60 years, that what to do about it. Right? Why haven't you done it?
Because I haven't heard it properly.
Huh?
I haven't heard it properly.
Good Lord.
No, it's all
After
right.
20 years haven't heard?
I know, but just a repetition of words isn't enough.
No, you mean, what's the matter with me? After hearing for
I'm
20,
sorry for myself.
after hearing him for 20 years, he talked about hearing, learning, seeing, good Lord, all the art of it and so on. I've listened to him for so long, and I haven't broken from my conditioning.
Relatively speaking, I've listened to him a very little time compared with the time in which I've been conditioned. Very little time.
What?
Put it all down, and it's probably a few hours of listening, even though it's in terms of years. It's not enough. Or else I must go on listening, or
So what shall I do?
I don't know. I'm wondering.
What do you mean you are wondering?
I'm wondering.
Wondering about what?
What to do, because it's clear to me that I love what this man is talking about. I love this picture that
Look,
he builds up and
I am-
exemplifies.
wait, I understood
I
you.
would like to be like that, but the fact is I am not. And you say, why not?
I don't want to be like him. I don't want to be anything. But I'm saying, he's saying to me, first understand that you are conditioned. Understand the nature of your conditioning, the cause of your conditioning, and the way to dissolve that conditioning.
That all sounds so easy.
No,
Just like pick up a textbook and read it, and you've got the answer.
Miss Pratt, I'm afraid we are not listening to each other. If I'm Miss Pratt, and I say to myself, I've listened to this man, why haven't I changed? Is my conditioning so deeply rooted that I can't solve it? Something must be wrong with me.
No, but that may be the case.
Huh?
The condition is so deep, why should there be something wrong with me?
What? I can't hear.
So there is no strong word, vital
Oh,
word.
there's yeah.
No attention.
I'm afraid we're not getting any. Miss Pratt is saying, sir, that she is so deeply conditioned that she doesn't know how to get out of it. Right?
That must be the case.
Huh?
Yes.
And if I may ask, why? Why, after being told umpteen times that nature of the condition, why haven't I, Miss Pratt, Miss X, why haven't I done something about it? Please.
Because it hasn't been my sole concern. There have been other concerns in my life.
No, that's not an explanation. Sorry. One can't accept.
That's a fact.
One can't accept that. Because if I have, the speaker has said over 100 times the nature of condition, why haven't I applied even little bit of it?
Krishnji, I question whether it makes any difference whether it's been said 100 times or just once. You said a little while ago, does one maybe not listen with complete attention? Surely, I think
All right,
that may be the
all
trouble,
right, Miss
because we
Porter.
don't listen.
Why haven't you listened complete attention?
Well, that's the question. I'm wondering whether listening to this person is not just becoming another escape for most of us.
Not bad.
Why haven't I, after listening to all, living the same house, talking to him endlessly and all the listening, why haven't I done something about it? You follow what I'm saying? If I have toothache, I'll do something about it. Why don't I? You follow, I'm asking this. Is it I'm lazy? Is it something wrong with me mentally?
No, but how I am doesn't give me the pain of toothache. How I am seems fairly all right. I don't get any toothache from it. Perhaps I don't suffer enough. I don't know, that sounds absurd.
What? I didn't hear.
Perhaps I don't suffer enough, but that
Oh,
seems
that's it.
absurd.
So we go back to that. That is, if I suffer enough, I'll become intelligent.
Well, then I'll have the toothache of which you speak.
No. Toothache, you do actually do something.
I know, but we haven't the toothache with regard to this.
No. But when you introduce the word suffering, that I must suffer in order to understand, in order to do something, is this our old condition. That I must go through a great deal of hell before I come to heaven.
But you yourself did that. You said
Oh,
toothache.
oh no, I have not said.
You said toothache, go to the dentist. So you use that analogy of suffering.
Sorry, I did not say it.
Did you? What did you say?
I said, I said when I have a toothache, I do something about it.
Yes, because of the
But the psychological suffering as a means to enlightenment is such nonsense.
You said that.
So what shall we do now? Mary Zimbalist says, we've been through all that.
Krishanji, you said, why don't we do something about it? But this doing something seems to be something rather elusive. I mean, we've
Sir,
tried.
just when he explained that to blast him, he explained, he said either do something or don't do anything about it. He said, the very not doing anything about it is the ending of it. He has also said all these things. If I constantly am doing, I'm moving in the same circle. So if I realize I'm moving around and around in the same circle, I stop. I don't do anything. And the circle ends. That's why I'm asking.
Sir, can we, I think that if we can speak presently and practically about awareness and awareness of something, for example, I am depressed. How I approximate depression? An example, for example, I am depressed. But psychologically, how I become aware of that and put aside that state, no? How penetrate it, and for that penetration, the mind becomes still negative, and after the positive movement comes in and reaches the negative, and creation takes place. Sometimes,
I don't quite follow you, sir.
no?
No.
For example, I am depressed, no? Psychologically bad. How I approximate that, how I am becoming aware of that and becoming the mind looking at my state inside, became the mind negative. And when it's negative, a different movement comes in that reaches the negative. And in that,
I don't quite follow negative. What do you
no,
mean?
the mind be still, observing itself, observing that the present state, the mind became still, quiet. No?
Yes.
In that quietness, a new movement appears. I read that in some lecture that you give.
Yes,
And that positive movement reaches the
don't
quiet mind.
call it positive, negative, just that a new movement takes place.
Takes place. And that movement, in that movement, the thing changes. Mind is full of vitality and creative.
And?
And creative.
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 Oh, I don't know. Yes.
Okay, I don't know speak very well English, no? But I have written that in verbal discussion that we have.
Are you saying, sir, that when one is depressed, by looking at it very in the right manner, by observing it,
Please.
without the observer,
Yes. Looking at it.
you understand each other what we are saying when we say without the observer?
Without saying anything about it. Moving about it.
No, sir.
No?
No. I am depressed, or I am any of the factors. I am depressed. How do I look at that depression? That's where the clue is. How do I observe the depression? Is that depression different from me who is observing it?
The same.
Huh?
It is the same.
It's the same.
Huh?
He says it's the same.
Yes. So there is a division between me, who is the observer, and the depression. Right? So there is a division. Then as there is a division, there is conflict. So I do something about that depression to end the conflict. Right? No,
Yes.
you're not. I'm lost. I've lost you. I can feel it.
I see that more. I feel my depression.
Would you follow step by step? I'll go into it. Right, sir? I am depressed. And I hear somebody say, observe it. And I say, all right, I observe it. I say, I am depressed. And he has also said, the observer is he different from the thing that is observed. You understand? The observer thinking is different from the thing he observes. Right? Have you gone so far together?
Yes.
Now, is the observer different? Or he thinks he is different? You understand my question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He thinks he is.
No, go into it, sir, slowly.
Yes, sir.
Now, there is depression and the observer. Who is the observer? Who thinks he's different from depression. Who is that observer? Is that observer the word depression? Is the observer something which has been accumulating during the past, and when depression comes, he recognizes it as depression? I wonder if you're following all this. Huh?
Yes.
He recognizes it. So he places the present depression into the past mode. Right? Right? And then he says, I am different from the actuality. Right? Is that so? Is not depression me? Right? Is not depression the part of the observer? Right? Don't agree with me. Unless you see this, don't nod your head, say yes. Now, look, sir, let's begin very simply. Good Lord. I am angry. Is that anger different from me? Go on, sir. Is that anger different from me? Obviously not.
It's not different.
Huh?
It's not different.
He says it's the same.
Huh?
As
So
I
why is
function-
depression not me?
Yes. As I function in the thought process, then I give my being creates depression.
Español, parla en español o...
Mientras yo funcione dentro del molde del proceso de pensamiento,
Lentamente,
sí,
per favore.
mientras yo funcione dentro del proceso de pensamiento como un pensador, separado del pensamiento, entonces mi ser se crea la depresión.
No, sir, no. Look, sir, let's begin. Don't begin with depression. Let's begin with simple thing like anger, right? Is anger different from me? Or anger is me,
It's me.
right?
Yes.
Now, why do you say depression is different from me? Do you understand my question? I am depression,
Yes.
right? Right, sir?
Yes, sir.
So what have you done when you say, I am that? You have removed the division, haven't you? And therefore conflict. No? So, look, if I am different from the Muslim, you understand? I am an Arab or I am the Jew, and I say I am different from the Arab, right? Right? Am I? Or is it only my conditioning, my education? But I am a human being as he is.
Tú, Germán, nothing more.
So the name, right, the culture, the religion divides us. Right? Right, sir?
Yes, sir.
So in the same way, depression, anger is me. Then if it is me, what am I to do? You understand?
Yes, sir.
No, I don't think we meet it.
What am I to do? I have looked at it. No? The pressure is present. Then I look as I look at you.
No, sir.
Oh, no.
No, sir. Good Lord. Would somebody else explain what I'm talking about? Will you? Somebody do it, please, if they understand what I've said.
It's not easy to understand actually what he's saying.
What?
It is not easy to understand actually what the gentleman is saying. Perhaps we could do it afterwards.
Maria, would you?
Well, his point of confusion, I don't think the rest of us understand because of the language problem.
I can be very quiet. If my mind is quiet, the mind is quiet, there is no more depression.
I don't.
I don't know if it is quiet.
I haven't understood, sir.
No?
There is no communication between us at the present moment. What, Maria, have you understood what he said?
No, that's
Si veo que estoy deprimido, ¿no es cierto? Y es una creación mental, entonces lo que hago es quedarme quieto.
So you have a picture.
Cualquier movimiento de la mente crea más depresión, ¿no? Es una huida de ese estado.
Yes, sir.
Then
Sir,
me quedo
and-
quieto.
yes.
Understand? Quedo quieto, todo el cuerpo, todo el ser. Quieto. Quiet. All the body, all the being. Quiet. Because if I move, I increase the pressure.
So
No,
would
I don't know if it is.
you explain, sir, what is the question?
The question is, when the mind is completely quietness, then all the problem is resolved.
Of course, that's
This
understood.
means
That's understood.
I said that.
That is, when the mind is completely quiet, there's no problem. Then the question arises, how is one to have this complete quiet mind?
Yes. That. How is the body? How is the brain?
Yes,
In that-
si, signor. Si.
In that, in the beginning, in the middle, and the end of our awareness. In that example, it's an example. but I think that it clarifies us to approximate any other problem, any other question.
Capito, sì, signor.
I think he's jumping a step because you're talking about the observer being the observed, but he's talking about a state that's after.
Oh,
He's
No.
talking about quietness, but I think we're still stuck at the observer observing anger without the observed. I think we're not quite clear.
no, look, we started with this whole problem this morning, asking why is it I'm not changing,
This is the same.
right? I don't know anything about quiet mind, I don't know anything about anything, I just know that I'm not changing, right? Fundamentally, I have remained as I have, slightly modified for the last 80 years, 50 years or 30 years. I'm just more or less the same, right?
Yes.
Why? Why don't I move from this? And Miss Pratt replies to that, I am deeply, heavily, profoundly, irrevocably conditioned. And I say, you have listened to this man for, Miss Pratt has actually for probably 50 years. And why haven't you done anything about it? It's a legitimate question. You say, I can't do anything about it because I don't know what to do. Either you have not listened to the man at all, or you are really unwilling to break through this condition, full stop. I want to learn Sanskrit or Latin or Greek, whatever it is. And I've spent 30 years learning. At the end of it, if I haven't learned anything about it, I say, my God, what's wrong with me? So I give up whatever language I'm trying to learn and forget about it. And say, yes, I'm deeply conditioned. All right, it's a fact. Let's get on with it. But you see, we know we are conditioned, and we also know we shouldn't be conditioned. So the battle goes on, right? Right? And I said, don't have a battle about, don't struggle to be unconditioned, but all right, accept it and get on with it. But if you don't want to, if you feel that being conditioned is rather unnecessary, then you do something about it. That's all. Have we answered your question? Why don't we change? Why don't we, after listening to you for some time, why is it that we more or less remain in the same narrow groove?
Not really. Not really, Mr. Johnson. I can't believe on the one hand that one hasn't listened. I can't believe that.
I don't know. All that I'm saying, either you have listened and see the importance and break, or you say, well, it's all right, and I play with it.
Are you saying that we want to hold on to the comfortable part of conditioning? We want to stay in the habit because that's the way it is.
Yes, that's it.
But at the same time, we realize something's wrong, but not enough to do something about it.
You see, I am one of the kind that wants to go the whole hog. Sorry to use that expression. I want to go to the very end of it. I don't want to come in the middle of him be a slightly mediocre, enlightened person.
Sir, we can go follow with the awareness of the press on anger, etc. Is the other side. That's I think is very important. Very will clarify many things and how we are conditioned. What do we do wrong?
I'm afraid, sir, most of us want to play with it, want to go halfway with it, right? What do you say? You listen to me. At last I can get at something. You have listened to me for 20 years. Why haven't you changed? I'm not being personal. Why haven't you changed?
I think, sir, that one difficulty is that the brain works at things piecemeal. I mean, the brain works at one thing at a time instead of looking at the whole.
All right, why doesn't do it as a whole?
Because as you were talking, I was thinking, you were talking about, working at the physical or whatever, seeing that you're not alcoholic or, those are things that are not difficult to work at.
But
I think most of us
but
have-
my lady, you haven't answered my question. You have listened to all this for 20 years, I'm pretty sure it is 20 years. Why haven't you changed? You know, merely looking at one bit by bit doesn't solve it. You know it very well.
Perhaps we don't take this as an actuality, but just imagine about it, I suppose. I am questioning myself if really I want to change.
Well, it's quarter to one. Have we stopped? Have we stopped talking about change? Because we can go on with this thing going day after day, say why I'm not changed, why should I change? I'm partly, I see part of it, I didn't see the whole of it. Why don't say I see the whole of it? I am this, you can go on like this for the next 40 years. By then I'll be dead and you'll be also probably going. So have we answered this question? Why we in this room who have listened to this poor chap for 40 years or 20 years, why haven't we changed? You can give 100 explanations, right? At the end of the 99 explanation, you are where you are, right? Then what will you do? Go to lunch. Much the safest.